since we were looking at continuous integration for Drupal, we thought of finding out how we could do or how we could write automated tests for Drupal. And while doing that, we found a cool extension for Drupal, which is actually called the Drupal extension for some strange reason, but it's actually the Behat Drupal extension. So, Behat is basically like the PHP version of Cucumber. So, it lets you write stories in pretty generalized way, and what it will do is it will convert those lines into actual code, right? So let's get down to how and get down and see how this will work. So I'll be opening this documentations page right over here. Right, I've already opened it. So just to talk about the system requirements, you will need PHP, Java, curl, and the Selenium server running. So it's just the Selenium server. You can just download it and just have the jar file. Just run the jar file. Let's do a system-wide installation so that you need to only do it once rather than doing it on every Drupal bundle you have. So I've got a test Drupal site on my local environment. So as you can see, this admin logged in, and I don't have any content. So we'll be filling in the content with the automated tests, right? So let's get down to the documentation, see how we can install stuff, right? So you'll need a composer to install the Drupal extension. What you need to do is just create a composer.json file on a publicly accessible location. So I'm going to just go into my OPT Drupal extension folder. So it's OPT Drupal extension, and what you should do is you should create your composer.json file. And add these few lines and run just run composer.install, right? So it should pretty much install everything you need on your machine, and once that's done, we can really get down to business. Oops, sorry, but you also need to add the Behat executable file into your path variable so that you can just go ahead and use Behat rather than going into a folder and just running it, so that you can just use. So once you install Behat, you should be able to run the help command, and it will give you a couple of commands and syntaxes you can run with Behat. So I'll just clear that. So now usually there is no hard and fast rule as to where you should put your test files, but pretty much the recommended place is site's default Behat. Yeah, so site's default location, and you can create a folder called Behat tests there, and start over. So what I've done is I've just added it into this location here. So it's actually my sites all Behat tests folder. So once I go into my folder, sorry, okay, I'm already in, sorry. So if I do ls command, I've got my configuration file or my behat.yml file. So I'll just open that up. So this is the file where you tell Behat where to find your location, where to find your like how to go to your local environment, and how to find all the extensions it needs, and so and what extensions you should use. So this is pretty much the default behat.yml file that's on the documentation page right over here. So if you go through the documentation, it will tell you what syntaxes you can use and why they are using it. So pretty much go through the documentation and you will find everything you need there. But let's start with this for now. So my uh, local URL is test.local. Mind you, just note that it's also HTTPS, so we just tried HTTPS to see if it makes any difference, but surprisingly it works. So let's get down to business. Okay, so what you need to do first is run the initializing command for Behat. And it should then create a features folder for you. So it just creates a very generalized PHP file, generalized PHP context file. So you can see what's in there. It will say where to find what and all these things. And you can also put in your custom syntaxes here as well. So let's write our first test, I guess. So I'll just create a new file called sample.feature, yeah, and say okay. So now we need to know what and how to write, and how to write it. You can get to know what the available syntaxes are. So I'll just go into the lesser detailed version. So you just have to give the command behat -dl, and it will list out all the syntaxes you can use, and so and so. But if you really are into things and you want to find out how this works, you can just go ahead and type behat -di, which will also tell you what function it runs and how it runs and what it does and all these things. For example, let's just take the first example. So it says given I'm an anonymous user, if you use this syntax, it will go to this file and run this function. So pretty cool. You can pretty much find out anything you want to do with Drupal here. So as our first scenario, what I'll do is I will log in as admin and check if I can see the my account page. So basically, if you log out, you cannot see the my account page. So if you log in as an authenticated user, you will see it. So let's write that scenario and see if it passes, right? So I'll go to my first feature. So I'm just going to copy the code around because I pretty much don't have time to type everything. So I'll explain the code while I'm doing it. So you'll have to add this annotation so that it actually opens the browser. So I will tell my feature is the login feature. So we are just in the login, let's say. Okay, so I need to write it this. My scenario is login as admin and my username, passwords, and we should give it something to test. So when I'm saying I'm going to say that, so I should see how does that go? Check my account. So mind the uppercase and lowercase letters as well, because it is case sensitive, so you should actually give the proper case when you're saying. So what it does is it will go to your home location, login. So it will press the login button. So this is actually the name of the login button. If you go here, log out, it's actually, if you inspect the element, we've actually given the name. Can you see it here? So it's the name of the login button, and once you log in you should see the my account link, right? So uh, how this test will run is Behat will find the feature and run it with the help of Selenium. So it will open your default browser unless you specified a specific browser, and run the test. So let's see how it runs right now. Okay, so you go to your command line. I'll just clear everything up so it's actually clear for everyone. So now if you try to run just the behat command, what it will say is cannot connect to, actually this 444 is your Selenium server, so I should probably start up my Selenium server. So I downloaded it here, so what I'll do is I'll just start it. Okay, so yeah, your Selenium server is up and running, so I'll just clear that up. Let's see how this works. Okay, should open the browser. I'll just maximize the browser for you. Goes to a link, logs in, and yeah, cool. I've just passed one scenario that I've written. So as I said, it's case sensitive. Let's make this capital and just check. It should actually fail at this point after you log in. So it logs in and there you go. It cannot see. It says no link my account on the page. So cool. So now let's go in further, and my next scenario would be how to add a node. So what we'll do is I'll open up this, just log in. So Drupal gives us two default content types, which is article. So what I'll do is I'll make the automation scenario. Click on the content link, go into that content and click on articles and make it just add an article for us, right? So I'll explain the code while I'm doing it. So let's go back to my code where I can copy. So I'll copy this part, so I'll explain what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just get rid of this. So I hope up to here it's clear. So you log in, then you click on content, that's right here, and as I said, it goes into add content. Click it and then click on the article link and click on the create, and sorry, you should create. So it validates certain things, checking if it sees the create article text, and then you fill in this text into the title text box. So I'll show you the title text box. Inspect. So as you can see, it's the edit title, and we've pretty much given the ID here. So it will look for this ID and fill in this text. And also what I've commented over here is you can add tag reference fields, and I've just shown a few examples of how you can fill in data for different controls, but I wouldn't have time to go through all the scenarios. So I thought I'll just put in some code, and you can just check it out. So what I'll do is I'll just only fill the body field, and I'll also attach a file. So the article content type would have a file field, so I'll attach a file for this field, because these are the things that users find pretty difficult, or pretty hard to find, I guess. And instead of now going and usually clicking the submit button over here, what we are going to do is we are going to pass in an XPath, and make sure the user can find it, right? So it's actually not in the current code to pass the XPath. So what we thought of demonstrating here is we'll also write uh, the mapping function for this syntax. So I'm just going to paste the function. As I said, you can put your custom code in this location, your features context.php file. So what I'll do is I will actually paste the code for it. Okay, where's the code? I can't find it. Okay, I need to put it down for history, I guess. I go into my local history and see if I can find it. Okay, there you go. So it's here. I'll just copy that bit, close it, and paste it there. So see, you should annotate this, and it will say when I click on element with XPath, and you should be able to send in your XPath of the element. And what it will do is it will find that particular XPath and click on that element, right? So it will get the element and just click on it. So that's what we've customized here, so that pretty much all users are familiar with XPath, so they can just if they want to click on a button. Particularly for example, if you take the upload button here, it's kind of hard to find, so you should actually use XPath to actually click it. So that's what we are going to demonstrate with the feature. So ideally it should create a piece of content with this file on my desktop. So let's try this out. Let's clear things up. Behat should open the browser. I'll just make things a little bigger. Login, and click on the particular links, go into them, into article, and it should fill in the data, and there you go. So now when you go to home, you should see the particular piece of content. See, it's created and all these things. So yeah, pretty cool. So now what we will try to do is now when we run automation, usually what we really need is for the data also to get deleted after the automation runs. So the Behat extension also lets us do it with by using um, an API driver, so that it will create the users automatically and delete them. So let's try out a simple scenario like that. So here what it will do is I will just create another features. So let's say we need a user to log in with a particular role, right? So let's go into file and create user role feature, and I'll just go into my code and paste it as well. So first of all, we should tell where to find the driver, and we should tell the driver where the root folders are, all that. So let's go into our YML file. So to tell the driver, use the Drupal driver, and this will be our Drupal root, and it will also use brush. So it will also tell Behat on how to find the brush root as well. So it's pretty much your Drupal web root folder. So just put it there and make sure you don't add any trading slashes. Yeah, so we add that. So now let's write our feature. Yeah, I'll just copy that entire code, and let's see this. So I'll just copy something else before I do that. So I want to log in as a content editor. So this is another role that I actually have on my local Drupal instance. So if you go to people permission roles, you can see that there is a content editor role as well. So the content editor particularly only has permission to add article nodes. So if I just go node, should have so as you can see, content editor only has permission to manage articles. So yeah, back home. So the cool thing here is as you notice, so what I'm saying is, given I'm logged in as a user with the content editor role, so what it will do is it will automatically create a user and log in, and then check or validate whatever the next scenario is. So let's tell it to validate. Let's get an example from the documentation itself. So let's go into the brush driver, and let's do this. So let's say needs to click on my account, and once it goes to the account page, it should see the heading called history. So if that happens, then the scenario would pass. So remember what we did, we added the APIs, and you should actually tell the scenario to use the API by using the API tag. So if you don't use this scenario wouldn't work, right? Let's go in and try and run. So it will also run the first. Okay, there is a syntax error, so let's correct that first. Let's see, what did I do wrong? So what I would do is, actually I'll copy the entire code over here, sorry, and just paste it there. I think should be good. So I'll just do formatting for the entire thing so that everything should be in order. Then let's go back space and try running the command again. Hopefully it should work. Yeah. Yep, it's running. should open the browser, so it will run through all the scenarios, by the way. So it will run through my first scenario as well. So okay, it will open the browser. Log in. So the scenario goes, just create the piece of content. That's it. So the next scenario is login as a content editor. So as you can see, it will automatically create a user, and yeah, it should go into the accounts page, and it should finish the test. So what I should show you actually is that it will create the user and the content and delete it at the end of the scenario. So show that, I will just add this piece of code, and I'll show you something else a little bit cool as well. So I'm going to create the same piece of content that I created in my sample feature over here, but I'm going to make sure that goes away as well. Okay, so what it will do is it will log in as a content editor and not click on this. It will click on add article on the left sidebar region. So what I'm going to make it do is, if you go into my Drupal instance, I'm going to make it click on this link instead of, there are multiple add article links. So it's one is there, one is here, and also there is one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the automated test click on this particular link on this region. So as you can see, the syntax is when I click add article in the left sidebar region. So we should tell Behat where the left sidebar region is. So there is a way of saying that as well. So what you need to do is add a region map over here, right? Oh, sorry, wrong Behat file. So so what I'll do is I will say left sidebar, and I will tell it how to find the region. So I'll just give the region's ID. There you go. Copy that and put it there. So right now it should be able to find the left sidebar. So also what I'm going to show is that at the content, I'll just add a break statement here and just show you the content is there, and once I go through, just go execute the break statement and release, it should actually erase the content at the end of the permissions, right? So let's see, I'll just clear all the content to be precise. Delete, delete. Yeah, so we don't have content at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll run the feature again. Okay, let's say Behat. So the first feature should create the piece of content and it won't get deleted, but the second feature, it should create the content, create the user, and delete the user and the content, right? So the break statement would actually uh, show us that the content is there. Okay. Hold on. So let's run this. Right. So we'll go through the first feature, open the browser, log in as admin. At the content, sorry, log in as a content editor again, again press on the particular link, and yeah, so again so now while the break statement is executed, I will just go into my other browser and show you that there are two pieces of content, and also there is a user who is a content editor, as you can see here. So that's the user that the automation script added. So at the end of the script, it should remove all the data. So as you can see, two scenarios passed, and if we go and refresh again, as you can see, there is no user, and that user's content is also deleted. So I think that's pretty powerful, because we don't need to write any data clearing up scripts. So yes, that's the end of this screencast. So I will put this video up, and make sure you give your comments and feedback. Thank you.